Hello there and welcome to a brand new lesson. This is How Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In our previous lesson, we learned how to copy angles. This time around, we want to learn how to bisect an angle using a compass. This would help us in construction of so many angles. These are the lesson objectives. Without much ado, let's quickly look into it. Now, before we go into the how and actually do some practice, let's understand what it means to bisect. So bisect is just from two words, bi and then the sect. Bi means to, then the sect means to cut. So when we say bisection, it simply means cutting an object into two equal pieces. Now when it comes to construction or geometry, and we are talking of an angle bisector, then it's simply a line or a ray that starts at a vertex and passes through the exact middle of the two angles. What does this mean? So let's call this we have here our angle. Okay. Now we will call a line an angle bisector if it actually passes through the point of intersection of these two lines. So this is the point of intersection. You pass through it, right? And as it passes through it, what it's going to do is it is going to divide these two angles into two equal parts. You see, I've just repositioned this angle a bit. So these two equal parts we are talking about should be such that the angle that has been formed over here should be the same as the angle formed over here. If that line is able to do that, then we simply mean, or we simply say it is an angle bisector, or the line has bisected this whole angle into two equal parts. This simply means if you have a 60-degree angle and you bisect it, then you have actually created a two 30-degree angles. With this understanding established, let's practice how to bisect an angle with a ruler and a compass. Okay, so we now want to look at the step-by-step compass method to bisect an angle. The first step is, so as we are reading, we are also practicing at the right hand side. And to be able to follow this through and then perfect it, then you should also draw an angle and then work along. So you can pause the video at this point and draw an angle so that we all do it together. So the first step says we should draw a reference arc. See, so most angles do have a reference arc. This here is can be a reference arc, but then we want it to be big enough so that we can work with it. You see, so we need to get a reference arc. So what we do is we take our compass and then we take note of this vertex. So I'm going to put my compass pin at the vertex over here. And with that, I'm going to open my compass to an appreciable radius and then draw my reference arc. So this is how my reference arc is going to be. Let me make that white. So this is how my reference arc is going to be. So with this reference arc, I am going to take note of 2 points that have been formed by the intersection of the arc and then the arms of the angle. So all I'm going to do is to put 2 points over there. So 1 and then 2. That is all. Now these 2 points will guide me get my bisector. So the first one says we should get, the second instruction says we should get our first crossing arc. Getting the crossing arc simply means you take your compass and then you pin at one of the vertices or one of the intersection that you formed. So I'm bringing it here, and then you open your compass appreciably and then you draw an arc. See, drew an arc. So you take note of where my compass pin was. You see that? My compass pin, and then I'll draw an arc. Now with this same opening, you move your compass to the other point of intersection. You see? Then we draw another arc. We draw another crossing arc. So you take note. The crossing arc you are drawing should be such that it will come and then intersect this other one. So I'm coming to do that for you. You see, if I'm to draw it, it will really touch it. That is what I want to happen. So I'll just draw an arc over here. And that is all I need. So with this arc drawn, what we now want to do is remove our compass away. And then you take your ruler. But before you even take your ruler, you make sure you take note of this point of intersection you have there. So I'm just going to put a point over there. And then we are going to take our ruler and draw a straight line from the point of intersection here through this point of intersection. So you should pass through here, take your ruler, and then you do that. So I'm doing that again. You see, and through here all the way. Now we want to measure this that we have drawn to see if the two angles we have formed are actually the same, and if this line here is also an angle bisector. So with my protractor, I'm coming to measure this angle. Now, if we look at it carefully, the previous angle was an 80-degree. You see, so 80-degree angle. Now let's look at this line we drew as the bisector. You see, it passes through the 40-degree angle. You see, and it has created two angles, each of which are what, 40. So this angle here, this one here being 40, and this other one also being what, 40. So yes, we have created a bisector that has divided the two angles into two. The steps once again says, first of all, let's draw our reference arc. So with this reference arc, we need 2 points. It should touch both arms. Then with both arms as reference points, we stand here and then draw an arc. Now you draw an arc, and then you make sure you don't open or close your compass. But with the same radius, what do? You stand here as well and draw another arc. We actually just want to focus on the point of intersection. So there's no need making it too long sometimes. You see, it should just be moderate enough for you to get your point of intersection. So with your point of intersection, the only thing you now do is to draw a straight line through the vertex, and then where you have your intersection, and that becomes your bisector. So basically, this is how we bisect angles. We'll end this lesson here, but in our subsequent lessons, we'll now actually bisect angles, construct and bisect angles to get more measures of angles. I do hope this lesson was helpful. This is How Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If this was your first time and you do think it will be of help to you, you can choose to subscribe so that anytime I release a video, you'll be notified as well. See you in our next lesson where we actually begin constructing angles. That is 90, 45, 60, 30, and then what have you. Bye for now, and do stay safe.